Dystopia warning, obviously. Welcome back to the land of no hope and Tories. It's always funny when I post the Union flag upside down because I can guarantee that within seconds my comment section will be filled with spam lads going, "Oh, you posted the Union flag upside down, slag!" Yes, I know, anus. It's a distress call. It's deliberate because Britain is in distress. It's in crisis, actually, yeah. Every single public service that we need is on its arse, and every single one of those Conservative MPs are richer than when they first came to power. We're not though, are we? You see, some of us understand the true meaning of flags, yeah. We don't just use them as masturbatory aids. Anyway, it's Christmas apparently, and I implore people to focus on a different message this year rather than the usual, you know, which is, yeah, I know what you're thinking, the deeply arousing undertones of Christmas. You know, the concept that if a holy man bangs a woman, she remains a virgin. Or the deeply kinky aspect of sitting on the lap of a big bearded man being told you've been a good girl. Or in the case of Rishi Sunak, sitting on the lap of an illiterate, dense twat being told how to run the country into the ground. Big year for the Conservatives though, yeah. Jonathan Gullis finally learned how to spell his name in crayon. And Nadine Dorries managed to stick to her restraining order. Yeah, and she didn't get chucked in the drink tank. I made those last two up. Britain's really lost its way. You know, a lot of people think that Britain is ruled by the royal family or by the government. No, we're actually ruled by non-dom billionaire press barons, yeah. They're deeply linked to the Conservative Party, though. Yeah, the Conservative Party tells them who the latest hate figure is this week, and then the newspapers go ahead and print it and tell everybody, and then people start repeating it, and then people start believing it, and then people start thinking that that's the true concept of patriotism, beating the shit out of someone that's vulnerable, because that's what will make you like your country more. And whenever I talk about asylum seekers, I get people going, oh, we should look after our own first. Well, the government hasn't looked after our own. The government hasn't looked after anyone but their own for the last 14 years, and that's why we're in such a state, isn't it? Monbiot was absolutely spot on Question Time. This government is performatively beating up vulnerable groups of people. Now, I know, and most people that watch me know, that that's not who a lot of us are. We've got great people out there. We've got people that go to the Bibby Stockholm barge and they give care packages. We have people like DEFRA who go out and they fix the boilers of elderly people and they fill their fridges up with food. We've got people like Tanisha Bramwell who go out and help the most vulnerable people. We've got people volunteering in food banks. We've got people volunteering at Crisis. That is what makes me proud to be British. They're the last little semblance of hope that I have for this fucked battered isle, to be honest with you. Because our government are nothing to be proud of. Royal family are just a bunch of leeches. Their status and their power is only maintained by there being people without in this country. And that's exactly what the Conservative Party aspire to be. But it's not who we are. It's in nobody's job description to pour hot water on people that are camping in a doorway because they're homeless. It's in nobody's job description to shout at someone that's in distress that's stuck in a processing centre. Every single thing that this government is doing is about power and domination, and no, not in a good way, in a bad way. Everything that you're reading in the papers is designed to make you beat up that person over there, because that's what they seem to think, we think patriotism is, hating other people. It's a tale as old as time. Look at the French. Oh, we've got to hate the sexy, well-dressed, rioting French. Got to hate the immigrant, even though Britain's always culturally and economically benefited from immigration. So what's the problem? The fact they're brown? The fact that two-bit little fascist pretending to be a working class man, Farage, has told you that they're the problem, not him? No, of course, it's never him, it's never them, is it? Except that's precisely who it is. They're the architects of the downfall of this country. A country ruled by groupthink, ruled by newspapers. And I know that we're all in the shit, and I know that we haven't all got the time to sit there when we're trying to work out how the hell we're going to pay the bills or buy the food shop, to look at politics, to look at the sometimes galling and patronising lines that they come out with. But you've got to look at the problem. You've got to look at the people that have put you in this mess. And you've got to look at what they're saying and deconstruct why they're saying it. Because it's all performative. It's all deflection, but the problem is their performance is having real world consequences. It's resulting in some of the stories that I see, which are young kids walking onto train tracks because they can't get a referral for mental health support. It's people laying sick without any dignity in hospital corridors. It's people being evicted from their homes, including the elderly, including kids. It's 4.2 million children in poverty, for fuck's sake. Immigrants didn't cause that. And whilst we're on the topic of asylum seekers and immigrants, we wouldn't have people languishing and stuck in hotels when they could actually be a massive asset to this country and, I don't know, do the jobs that we're crying out for. We wouldn't have this problem if they just fucking processed them. That's all they did. They had one job, right? In this entire 14 years, they had one job: to govern. And they couldn't even manage that because they're underqualified, not just literally, but morally. There's no act of service in what they're doing, besides self-service. And what we see now is a government that's run out of rope, that has nowhere to go, that's going to face an absolute battering in the next general election, and we're going to make sure of that. Clambering around, trying to find someone else to blame. Is it the trans person? Is it the asylum seeker? I don't know. What next? The disabled people, the people on benefits, calling them scroungers when we've got people in government working 3 different fucking jobs when they should be serving their constituents. And the population aren't okay. People are existentially tired, and they need to know who's responsible for that. And I'm telling you now, it's not the person standing next to you in a food bank. It's not the person that's trying to claim asylum, which they have every legal right to do. It's not the person that can't work because they have a life-limiting condition. No. It's those that have failed to do their jobs for 14 years. So this Christmas, I encourage everyone to light a Molotov. No, this Christmas, I encourage everybody to not focus on the kinkiness or the sex or buying shit. No. I encourage everyone to raise a glass to the last Christmas we're going to face under these shit houses. Stop thinking they're all the same. That's a tabloid line. Stop blaming people who are not responsible. Stop believing the bullshit. This year my motto is pretty simple. Deck the halls and fuck the Tories.